The morning started calm, almost too calm. I stepped onto the porch with a mug of coffee, expecting to see my new truck sitting right where I had parked it the night before. But the driveway was empty. At first, I thought my wife had taken it to grab supplies, but then I remembered she was still inside with the baby. My pulse quickened. I set the mug down hard enough that it sloshed over the rim and ran back into the house. "Where's the truck?" I called. She looked up from the kitchen, confused. "What do you mean? It's right outside." But I already knew it wasn't. And then I heard it. A faint, muffled cry carried on the morning air. My stomach twisted into a knot. My newborn. I had left the car seat strapped in the back after a long evening drive. Panic surged through me, but years of discipline took over. Instead of running in circles, I bolted to my office and pulled up the security feed. There he was, Karen's spoiled teenage son, the one I'd caught spray painting fences last summer. On camera, he laughed with two of his friends, fumbling with wires beneath the dash before my truck roared to life. He had no idea there was a baby inside. My hands shook, but my mind was sharp. That truck wasn't just a vehicle, it was my fortress. I had built in my own GPS tracking system and a remote engine immobilizer. I pulled up the location feed on my phone. 2 miles out. Speeding. "Call 911. I barked to my wife. "Tell them a minor stole the truck. Tell them the baby's in it." I jumped into my backup vehicle and tore down the road, my eyes locked on the pulsing GPS. The truck was weaving through the back roads like a drunken bull. Every second that passed felt like a year. Finally, I hit the immobilizer. My thumb pressed the screen and held. The system cut fuel instantly. The roar of the engine died mid-turn. Tires screamed against asphalt. The truck fishtailed, spun halfway around, and slammed into a shallow ditch with a metallic groan. I floored it toward the location. By the time I arrived, deputies were already there, lights flashing red and blue in the morning haze. The teenager stumbled out of the driver's seat, pale and shaken, yelling at his buddies. "I didn't know there was a baby in the back. I swear." I didn't hear the rest. I sprinted past them, yanked the rear door open, and saw my newborn staring up at me, crying, but unharmed. Relief crushed me so hard my knees nearly buckled. I pulled the car seat into my arms, whispering, "You're safe now. Daddy's here." Karen's shrill voice cut through the air. She came screeching up in her SUV, hair wild, waving her arms. "This is insane. He's just a boy. Boys make mistakes. You can't arrest him." The deputy, a no-nonsense man with a hand resting on his belt, stepped toward her. "Ma'am, your son stole a vehicle, endangered an infant, and committed grand theft auto. He's going downtown. End of discussion." Karen's jaw dropped. But he didn't mean to. You can't ruin his future over this." The deputy's expression hardened. "He's lucky he didn't ruin someone else's future. That baby could have been killed." Her son, hands cuffed behind his back, shouted, "Mom, do something." Karen looked at me then, expecting mercy, expecting me to bail her out, like I always had with her petty schemes. But this time, I stepped closer until my shadow fell across her. "Your HOA stunts have cost me fences, crops, peace of mind. But this..." I lifted the car seat slightly, showing her the wide, innocent eyes of my child. "This crossed a line you can't come back from." Karen's lips moved, but no sound came out. For once, she was speechless. The deputies loaded her son into the cruiser. Karen tried to follow, but one officer held her back, warning her she was inches from obstruction. The crowd of HOA members who had come to gawk now stood in awkward silence, realizing their queen bee had led them into disaster. As the cruiser pulled away, my wife arrived, rushing to take the baby into her arms. I wrapped them both in a hug, the adrenaline finally draining from me. That night, sitting on the porch, I rocked my child gently while the crickets sang. The weight of the day lingered like a storm cloud, but one thing was clear. Karen's power had cracked. She could meddle with my land, my pool, even my dam. But the moment her spoiled brat endangered my family, The fight was no longer between landowners and an HOA. It was between law and chaos. And I knew, deep down, that Karen's empire of intimidation was starting to collapse, one reckless mistake at a time.